YouTube. What's up? It's your boy Original Dog, man. Scent of the day. Mancera, Sicily. Oh my god. That thing projected like a motherfucker, man. Filled up the entire back room. People were walking in and saying, "Is that you that got this, that's filled this place up with that scent?" People asking me to spray it on them. Shit was crazy. Another compliment getter, Mancera, Sicily. Like, I know that's a summertime fragrance, but I wore it and it did its job. But I just want to let y'all in on that Mancera, Sicily. Go get it. It's worth it. Okay. So I know it's a little dark. Y'all just have to deal with that. I feel like having a decent conversation. Sometimes having a conversation in the dark or when the light's real dim. Yeah, puts people a little bit at ease sometimes instead of all the lights, cameras, action bullshit. You're not gonna find another fucking YouTuber that does this like this, and sets the mood like this in their own fucking video. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about is fragrances and what people say. You know, I hear people say it's a luxury item. It's just scented water. As if it's nothing to them. If it's nothing to them, then why are these people collecting? The people that say this now, the people that say this are the main ones who are collecting them hardcore and religiously. Here's the thing. I don't think it's just scented water. And I honestly don't think it's just a luxury item. I think it's more than that. I think that fragrances invoke and evoke more than what many people believe they portray. I think that fragrances have more meaning, a deeper meaning to them than just scented water or a luxury item. And as far back as you can go, you can see many different kinds of people applying fragrances, not just to their skin, but to their religious beliefs, to their lives, to their everyday household chores, everything. They every aspect of their livelihood, they involve fragrances. You know, even as far back as biblical times, the only bush that was allowed to be planted near a temple was the rose bush, or only flower that was able to be planted near a temple was the rose flower. And one of the reasons why, because back in those days they had many animals, and transportation they used animals, horses and donkeys, and there was manure all over the place. And in order to keep the temple smelling great and fragrant, they used rose bushes. You know, so in many religious aspects, in everyday life, people use fragrances, and fragrances are used to uplift. They're used to strengthen spirituality, to endow a person with abilities and capabilities, emotional stability, all kind of different things, man. So when I hear some idiot say it's just scented water, and then I look at their fucking collection, and then I see, do you not see why you're wrong? Why to say that fragrances is just scented water, or it's just a luxury item? I'm sitting here and I'm in my mind, I'm not gonna lie, I'm saying, yeah, that's true, but there's more to it than just that. So this is just me just thinking about this just now. Just now, right before I started this video, I was like, let me go ahead and do an impromptu video right off the top of my head and explain to you guys why I believe that fragrances is more than just scented water and more than just a luxury item, and why people are passionate about fragrances and passionate about the bottles that the fragrances are held in, passionate about the maker, the perfumer, the entire aspect, the whole game of fragrances, perfume, and cologne. And it starts with loving yourself, self love, which is one of the most important things that anyone can evoke and invoke, is the energy of love. You know, it makes you feel better about yourself. And every little inch counts. Every little inch counts in this game of life. You know, you just like at a job, if you want to perform your job and do 100%, some of y'all do 110%. Every little bit counts. Every little second counts. If you're at a production job, every little second counts. Where you can save time or gain time to give you that little bit of extra cash, every little bit counts. Every little trick, every little detail, anything that you can do to save you some time or to gain some time, add it to your credit. It's what you can do. And fragrances is just part of this big game of your life and you loving yourself in this lifetime. Every little bit counts. Now, some of us like to dress up. Some of us like to wear fragrances. Some of us are over certain things. Some of us are still working through certain things. Some of us are addicted. Some of us aren't. You know, I don't really get down with the attire, the clothing. I'm good with Walmart clothes. But I want to smell better. I want to smell different. I want to change up the way I smell. You know, I used to like watches. I'm getting back into watches again. You know, I used to be into clothing. No more. The one thing I realized about clothing, you wear it and then you wear it out. But with fragrances, you can hold on to fragrances for a certain amount of time. You know, I don't know. You know, I'm not that big on clothes. That's just me. You know, I'm not gonna have a big wardrobe full of clothes that I'm barely ever gonna wear. Fragrances is different. You have the bottles. You can look at it more like an ornament or, you know, a centerpiece or something. You know, you get your cabinet, you show it off, or make your room look better for yourself, or love yourself. Fragrances help you love yourself. Positive energy. You know, to sit here and say that fragrances is just scented water. How can you even say that? Or it's just a luxury item. How can you even say that? It gives us more than just luxury items or scented water. It helps us with ourselves, with our psychological self, our emotional self, our subjective selves. It helps us, and it helps other people enjoy the fragrance and the scent. You know, Jesus washed. They washed Jesus' feet with scented water. Jesus washed other people's feet with scented water. With oils and shit. You know, it's more to it. There's a whole galaxy out there that smells like raspberries. If an entire galaxy is based upon a certain scent, then how can you say that fragrances is just scented water? When many scriptures in different religious, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds use burn sage, burn incense to chase away demons and negative energy, how the fuck can you sit here and say it's just a luxury item or it's just scented water? When you're burning incense for Christmas and you're burning these cinnamon candles and your family comes in and they smell your household and it uplifts everyone that walks into your house. They smell the cooking, they smell the candles, they smell the incense burning and the diffusers burning. And they walk into your house and they like take a deep breath and they like, wow, it smells good. And how the fuck can you say it's just scented water? How can you not be passionate about this shit? You know, and I ask myself, why do people say this? Why do people just downplay fragrances like as if it's nothing? And the only reason that I can come up with is that they're blocking. They're shielding themselves. They want to ridicule others. They want to make fun and tease. They want to belittle. They want to marginalize, as if this whole hobby that we have ain't worth shit. And as far as I know, having fragrances, peaceful, calming, relaxing, love, all these words and all these terms that I'm using is because of fragrances. Joy, celebratory, you know, annual, biannual, per annual. You celebrate it year round. In different countries, in different climates. But you sit here and you make fun of a motherfucker and say it's just scented water. Or you make fun of a motherfucker who goes buys a cheapie or some shit. I'm guilty. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but I had to think about this shit. This is why I make these videos. Or you make... Now, I'm not going to lie. Depending on how much money you actually make, you know, that is a deciding factor on how much you should spend on a fragrance. I think I saw that a fragrance was worth like $20,000 at one point. For some ouds, it's like millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars on an ounce of oud. So I'm tripping. I don't have that kind of money. Would I make fun of someone who buys the oud? No, I wouldn't make someone who has that money to buy that oud. I would make fun of someone who doesn't have that money and attempts to buy that oud, neglecting everything else in his life. Neglecting his family, his children, to get that oud. I'd make fun of, I'd ridicule that fuck out of the motherfucker and try to attempt to stop him from buying that fucking oud. And being a detriment to other people's lives instead of being, you know, helpful and loving to his family. That's when I'd say something. But at the same time, man, I sit here and I see all these dudes who amass this big ass fucking collection of fragrances. And they sit here with their noses in the air and they're snobby or they're douchebags, designer douchebags, niche snobs, you know. And they make fun of someone who buys a cheapie. Or they make fun and ridicule someone who's bought a fragrance that's overpriced. Like I said, I know my subjectivity. I've done it. I can admit that. But in my defense, I believe that I've done it to defend the part that is right about doing things or not doing things like that. So how do I rectify, or how do I justify what I'm saying when I say these certain things like Ashton is charging too much? Or Steven is making clones. How do I justify myself? To some of y'all, may never justify what I say. What I say may never be right, may never be wrong. But from my perspective and my point of view, I feel like what I'm doing is right, though I may be wrong. I may be right to a certain percentage of people, and I may be wrong to the other percentage of people. Or I may be right to a small group of people. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, and I could be right. That's the fun thing about fragrances, is that the genres and the aspects and the designers and the niche, when you speak about these things, becomes very, very blurry. Very, very subjective and opinionated. And it's very hard to ground logic and fact in it, because it's based upon what the individual smells more than what the masses smell. And especially it makes it harder because it's an online community. It's not like a physical community where you right shoulder to shoulder with someone smelling the same fragrances. You know, you could have eaten something that day that throws your palate off, throws your sense of smell off, your sense of taste. So this is my thing. I don't think I don't think that fragrances is just scented water. I don't think that fragrances is just a luxury item. I think that fragrances is a very important part of many of our lives. And not just the person who collects fragrances, not just the person who wears a cologne. Fragrances are important to people who cook, people who use the bathroom, people who work at chemical plants. Fragrances is very fucking important. The sense of smell is very fucking important. Your ability to compare and contrast scents, to evaluate what the fuck you're smelling. So when you say it's just scented water, I gotta give you the big motherfucking middle finger. When you say it's just a luxury item, I gotta give you the big motherfucking middle finger. If there's anything in this life that is a true hobby and a true passion that is worth sharing to the world, men and women, children even, without harming many people physically or not harming as many people as other hobbies, like gun collecting or some of the hobbies like that. I think that fragrances would be the hobby to perpetuate, would be the hobby to promulgate, to pass on to others and tell others about, and let a person learn to love fragrances. I think this would be the perfect hobby to pass on to the next generation of people. But to hold your head, nose up in the air and smirk and disrespect this hobby, disrespect my passion, as well as the passion of many of you and many others, I have to sit here and say, if it's just scented water to you, and that's all it is to you, then just kill yourself. Taste of scent, sense of taste and sense of smell go hand in hand. If you can't smell or taste anything, what's the reason in living? I'm sure there's other reasons in living, but man, I don't know what I would do if I couldn't taste or smell anymore? You know what or see, or even hear, or feel. Our senses play a big part of our lives. And when you say that fragrances is just scented water or a luxury item, and you collect, I have to tell you this: you're missing the entire picture. You're missing the point of fragrances. You're missing the moral and ethical standpoint of why we collect. The joyful part. You're missing the good part. You're not getting it. Why are you even collecting if you say some stupid shit like that? It's your boy Original Dog Man. I collect because it's a passion and it helps me. It invokes and evokes spirituality, love, joy within my household. My wife and my girl, my baby girl, they have perfumes and fragrances and they love it too. We have incense burners and oil burners in this house. It's more than just sending water to us. Peace the hell out.